Hey, this is Emma from GameWatcher, and this is my video review for Chronicle Runescape Legends. I started playing Chronicle Runescape Legends thinking that it would just be another forgettable Hearthstone ripoff. It's difficult to look at a card game and avoid comparing it to the incredibly successful Blizzard title. However, I was pleasantly surprised by what Jagex had to offer. Chronicle echoes a number of the components utilised in Hearthstone, whilst managing to be a completely different game, bringing something new to the table, quite literally. It introduced me, a fan of Hearthstone, to a new style of gameplay, and although I may not want to admit it, I actually really enjoyed it. Upon launching the game, you're prompted to pick a character, or as they're known in the game, a legend. There are currently 5 legends to choose from. First up, we have Ariane the Mage, then the Raptor, which is a tank, Venescula the Vampire, Ozan the Thief, and finally Linza the Blacksmith. The structure of the game is relatively simple. Each match consists of maximum of 5 chapters, in which players will have the opportunity to use up to 4 cards per chapter. These cards have to be selected in advance, and both players will have to lock in their decisions before the chapter begins. Most of the game therefore entails you watching your legend interact with each of your cards, alongside your opponent's legend, and it's this style of gameplay that makes Chronicles so fun to play. Not only are you using some of your cards against your opponent, you also have to take into account how they'll affect your legend. Ideally, you will want to chip away at your opponent's health throughout the game, while simultaneously building your legend's attack. If both legends are still standing at the end of the game, they will engage in one-on-one combat until one of them falls, so you'll want to do everything you can to ensure that your legend is still standing. However, if you play your cards right, you'll have the opportunity to annihilate your opponent before the end of the game. There are 4 main stats that you should constantly be aware of in Chronicle: attack, health, armour, and coins. When attacking a card, the creature's stats will appear at the top of the card, and anything that you gain by defeating it will be displayed at the bottom. This information is really important, as a poor selection could be detrimental to your entire game plan. Being aware of these stats will help you to manage your legend's health and attacks, ensuring that they make it to the end of the match. For example, in the first chapter, it's really unlikely that you will need Romilly Weaklax, an ally card that gives you an additional 7 points of health. It would make far more sense to pick cards such as Ally Morrisane, or battle a creature that will drop coins when defeated. By collecting coins in the early chapters, you'll be able to afford some of the more effective cards later on, including cards that will increase your damage, which are particularly expensive. Furthermore, decks in Chronicle are structured pretty much identically to Hearthstone, as is deck building. If you haven't played either game before, it's important to know that each deck consists of 30 cards, and these can be split into general cards that can be used by any class, and class-specific cards. Each time you play a game, you will earn experience, which will eventually accumulate until you level up. It's at this point when you'll be able to unlock more cards. Players are also able to purchase booster packs from the store, whether it be using in-game currency that they have earned, or real money. There is Dungeoneering, a high-risk, high-reward PvP mode that will only unlock once you hit level 15. In Dungeoneering, the player navigates through a dungeon in order to find loot, battling opponents along the way using a deck drafted from a random set of cards. After you lose for a 3rd time, you'll be rewarded based on how many victories you scored along the way. A lot of the community believe that this is the fastest way for you to build up your card collection without paying for additional packs. However, if you don't feel like betting it all on the Dungeoneering mode, the game will feed you constant daily quests, where you can earn additional in-game currency. These quests are very quick and relatively easy to complete, so if you play every day, this is a great way to fund your thirst for extra packs. Once you reach level 20, you will also be eligible for weekly epic quests, which are a little bit more challenging and take considerably longer to complete. Moreover, Chronicle ensures that you have a lot to look at whilst playing the game. Each match unfolds on a 3D board laid across the table, with both your legend and your opponent's represented by small figurines. As I mentioned before, these figurines will interact with the characters and creatures depicted in the cards that you choose to place on the board. Your opponent is also sat on the opposite side of the table, circulating for a number of animations of them intensely concentrating on the board. These additions complement the game's overall aesthetic, but after a while playing the game, it would have been nice to just turn off these animations, particularly the figurines. The 3D storybook approach is a sweet addition, and each chapter provides a nice change of scenery. The music is pretty much what you would expect too, a jovial tune in the menus, and a track littered with dramatic spikes and overlaid with the Legends outbursts in matches. I managed to try all the Legends, but the one that I enjoyed playing as the most was the Raptor. This character is often referred to as the tank, and his most successful strategy utilises cards that enable you to stack armour and attack. I found that in the majority of ranked games that I played, opponents that put pressure on the Raptor early had a much easier time beating him. He has a number of starter cards that enable him to gain a substantial amount of armour, with one of them allowing you to sacrifice 6 points of health for 8 points in armour. That being said, all of the Legends were really fun to play, and building custom decks with the cards that I unlocked by playing the solo, casual and ranked modes were very straightforward. Before playing Chronicle Runescape Legends, I had absolutely no interest in the game at all, but now that I've tried it, I definitely want to continue playing. The game feels completely different to Hearthstone, and that's what makes it feel so refreshing. Stacking some of the temporary buffs by lining up 4 cards at a time feels both rewarding and fun, and it's an interesting way to shake up a traditional card game. Building a good basic deck is incredibly easy, and I didn't once feel that I'd lost against an opponent simply because they had better cards than me. I enjoyed balancing my Legends bank of coins, health and armour, and particularly relished the games where I headed into 1v1 combat at maximum health, armour and a high level of attack. Whether you're a big Hearthstone fan or have never played a card game before, this one is definitely worth checking out.